Tonight, an exclusive ABC 15 investigation. We've obtained leaked videos from inside one Arizona prison where the inmates were calling the shots, not the corrections officers. You're about to see officers being held against their will inside a stairwell, and afterward, no inmates received any discipline.
ABC 15 investigator Dave Biskobing found that's because it may be part of a behind-the-scenes pact between gang leaders and prison staff.
It's May 29. It's the type of scene you picture in the movies, and the video's surprisingly clear. Rows of prison cells, stacked one on top of another. Groups of inmates dressed in orange. There's push-ups, haircuts, and lookouts.
This is the main floor of what prison?
This is CB2 in Florence prison.
Carlos Garcia is a union director and former corrections lieutenant.
So this is the Florence prison. It looks like it's what, 3-4 stories high?
It's three tiers high.
Okay. A lot of inmates packed into there.
A lot of inmates, and they shouldn't really have this freedom, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
It's here where we need to focus first. There's some sort of deal going down in this cell behind a raised sheet. Again, you see a lookout. Now the sheet comes down just after two officers walk into the area. As one officer walks toward the cell to go and grab the sheet, the two inmates who are inside walk toward the stairwell. One of them then turns around to talk to the officers, distracting them while the other inmate heads up to the third floor. That's where Garcia says he makes another exchange. But here's what we didn't show you. When the inmate is on the third floor, biding time, inmates surround the officers as they enter the stairwell.
And that's what they're guarding.
So they want to make sure that this exchange happens.
That exchange has to happen.
So now we have these officers, they enter the stairwell.
Yes.
And now you see these guys coming from the bottom.
Yes.
And these guys come in from where they just came from.
You got to give them credit. This is a coordinated action to defend what they're doing.
I mean,
so
if I'm looking at this, I mean, we got like a dozen inmates here all kind of working together.
More than that. They're more than that.
You're now looking at two officers stuck in the stairwell, blocked from getting out.
By all standards, this is a hostage situation.
Meaning they're held somewhere without their will.
Against their will, and they are told absolutely, as in a hostage situation, you're not going anywhere.
The officer's trapped between the first and second level for almost a minute and a half. That's when another officer comes and talks to the group. The inmates then let the pair out as other staff arrive. And the officers got lucky because we got another camera angle showing this inmate almost shut the entry door to the entire section before backup got there.
He was trying to shut the gate so that they don't have keys to get in there. They would have to get it from the officers who are in the cluster.
Thankfully, no one got hurt.
Why was nothing done about this? DOC allowed it. It's confirmed.
Wait, was anybody disciplined for this?
No, they were
inmates. Were any inmates disciplined?
No, here's where the story takes a horrible turn.
This whole story may feel familiar. That's because 2 years ago, we interviewed Garcia about a different set of leaked videos. Ones that exposed hundreds of cell doors in Lewis Prison that didn't lock. Our reporting caused the former prison director to retire. The scandal also caused the department to rebrand and change its name. Literally, it went from ADC to ADCRR. And the governor's office ordered an outside investigation by two retired Arizona Supreme Court justices. Now our reporting on the locks and that outside investigation have a connection to these videos we're showing you today.
So let's just kind of break that down. Now, some of these inmates here that appear to be running the show,
yes,
they came from Lewis.
They came from Lewis, and same players.
And we know because of our past investigation that at Lewis, they had something called the step-down program.
Yeah.
Let's read it here.
Here's what the state's outside investigation found about the, quote, step-down program. Supervisors used inmate leaders, those who had influence over other inmates, to help control inmate behavior and keep the peace. These inmate leaders were rewarded by extra privileges and withholding discipline.
So they're actually putting inmates in
charge.
They're
officers. Oh, they're officers. Yeah,
they're kind of deputized.
Yeah, we thought it was a joke, but here's a judge saying this happened.
Here's more from the outside investigation. When asked what makes inmates influential, interviewees told us that it was often because of the inmates' connections, such as gang leadership positions or affiliation. So what about the key inmates involved in this incident? Garcia says they're documented prison gang members.
They are in here. They have been given license to run things just like more than officers. They have a say-so, and that's what you're looking at.
We also obtained supporting inside documentation, but we're not showing it to protect sources. It confirms much of what you just heard and saw, and it names inmates involved. So we checked the inmate database to see if they were disciplined, and so far, there's nothing there.
And in the aftermath, nothing was done. Nothing. Zero.
I'm Investigator Dave Biskuping, ABC 15, Arizona.
We reached out to the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry. They did not answer our questions about the step-down program, but issued this statement. There was a brief incident when several inmates appeared to obstruct staff. As additional staff promptly arrived, the inmates dispersed. 8 inmates were initially issued former disciplinary reports over the incident. The unit administration reviewed the incident and determined no formal disciplinary action was warranted. All inmates involved in the incident were reviewed and found to be appropriately classified and housed.